Hello Virgo, it's Marina from the Butterfly Effect, and this is your reading for the rest of June 2020 and probably a little bit into July. Little background on this reading, Virgo. I actually pulled this reading about, I don't know, maybe a week and a bit ago. And it was a bit off colour, and I had a few personals to do. So what I actually did was photograph it and put it away. So when I came to do your reading tonight, I thought, well, it'll be a bit stagnant. I'll pull something new. And the first oracle card that came out with one extra. Was Fiona and the Unicorn, the gift of sacred sight. So I had a wee chuckle, and this reading is meant to go out as it was. The energy is still very valid. In a nutshell, I would say that I'll probably entitle this I See Narcissists. I don't know if it's just one or it's a number of. And the whole purpose of this reading, Virgo, is to tell you, do not doubt your intuition. You see the truth in the matter, and you're probably being gaslighted out your box here by at least one individual who's the Emperor in reverse. I imagine the person you actually live with, given that they're coming up in your 4th house, and they're mirroring the 10th house, and that's my bodacious Bodak. I've also got my Glaucoma, who's my narcissist, front and center, because I was asking, what is it that you see? And I got my narcissist. Wow, this is something else. So let's first and foremost have a wee look at Fiona and the Unicorn. When your third eye is opening, it may be helpful to work with a crystal, to work outside with the fairies in their natural habitat, and to experience pure and beautiful visions to balance the other stranger and sometimes harsh images you will see. Take time to see into nature, and this opening will not be traumatic. It may be strange and difficult at times, but it will become natural and pleasurable. And what you see with your spirit eye will be pleasant for you to experience. A great many visions will come to you. Stay hydrated and keep a record of what you see. You may begin to create spirit paintings, capturing these spirit visions with pen, colour and canvas. You're not losing your mind. You have been gifted with sacred sight. So, yeah. Ooh, this might be, this might be a case of you're actually getting this information through in your dreams. And if you are going through like the initial stages of an awakening, and you're having a fairly traumatic experience with someone in your life, or maybe you don't even think you're having a traumatic experience yet, but what you're seeing in your dreams is making you doubt it. This is just to tell you that pay attention to, document it. Even if it doesn't make sense at the time that you record it or write it down, go back, a few hours later, a few days later, and things will pop out to you. The other thing I will say is when we do go through this first awakening, and I've had reason to say this to one of my personals literally yesterday, initially, and if it is through something traumatic, you don't, I don't know how it works for other people, but I don't honestly think most people pop into the 5D and see angels and get lots of love and light and messages. I think for the vast majority of us, especially if you've got any chakra blockage, especially your heart, you're going to actually go into the lower astral realms. You're going to get into the filth, the 4D and the lower rungs of it. And with that, you're going to see people as they are, because as much as this chappie here is wearing a sexy old mask in the 3D, in the 4D, they're not able to wear masks. You actually see people in the 3D as they are in reality. Yeah. So you'll often see them. They might even look like demons. They might be, I've seen like squirming around and literally covered in like gunge, looking like slugs. They can be deformed. They can have, various disabilities. It's like you know them, but they don't look like themselves. And you will get tricksters in this realm as well. This is very much trickster energy here. But you'll, over time, and eventually, we would hope, you'll be able to recognize what it is you're dealing with. They will have something off about them. It's almost like watching a glitch in the Matrix. They will have like muck or filth. They'll have a funny smell about them. They'll have that sort of dupe duping smile, you know, that psychopaths and sociopaths have. They just literally can't help themselves. Or in my experience, I'm fortunate to get a song that comes through which can be at complete odds with what I'm seeing, which is how I'm alerted to what it is that I'm dealing with. So the main thing is, Virgo, if you are experiencing this, is not to be afraid and not to feed the fear, because this kind of energy literally feeds off it. They are vampiric, and that is, you are their source. So if it's not adulation, praise, love, sex, attention, it is fear. That, you know, it doesn't matter what emotion they're actually generating on you, as long as it is like of a, yeah, it's sufficiently high that they can feed off it. So I hope that's not like really scary for people, because I know it can be like really scary. It's just to say you're not losing your mind, you're not psychotic, you don't need to go on a pile of drugs. You know, it is a very natural experience. It's just not one a lot of people will speak about. So whatever it is you are seeing, just work your way through it, and be alerted. You're literally being given a gift here. You've been given a heads up and a major red flag about what's going on in your life, because in the 3D there is someone who is literally messing with your mind here, maybe even messing with your money, and they're making you doubt yourself, is what I'm getting. This has come through with the dragonfly spirit, which is truth transcends illusion, and the hawk spirit, let spirit be your guide. I mean, wow. Major insight here. So on some level you know the truth, but then you hear the story, and you know the story that they tell you, and you know, sometimes you just don't want to be right. It's as simple as that. But this is basically saying that with the hawk spirit, you really are getting a bird's eye view as to what's going on here. And there will be signs and synchronicities that you know, spirit will send you in the 3D, as well as your dreams, you know. So you will start seeing a lot of repeating numbers. There'll be you know, odd things will pop out in license plates, or advertisements, a song on the radio, a book that you pick up. And it'll be repetitive, that, you know, if they're trying to get through to you what is actually going on, they're just trying to get your attention. They're literally just trying to get your attention. So please pay attention, and I think you are, and I think you will get there, and hopefully this reading will help you. There are the 3 of clubs here. This is sort of like a stone wall, obstacles. Now this might be, you might be stonewalling this information, you know, or you might be actually being told just to work on your boundaries. Yeah, I think I've done enough there. I do have, this is the extra card that came out, and this is Faceless Ghosts and the Haunted Girl. And I am just getting the fear off of this, to be honest. So let's have a look. In this beautiful card, oopsie, a lovely girl in the bare woods is being moved in on by 2 masked ghosts. They do not reveal their identity, but she can feel their presence strongly. She remains calm as she knows who they are. They are the Noperabo, the faceless ones who have no features and who take on the form of others around them. They wear a variety of masks, and they regularly take up a new cause or identity without being aware of their own need to grow and learn themselves. Because of this, they seek out energy from others who are bright, strong and real, and now they are seeking yours. And it is likely they are seeking, sorry, I just said that, and it is likely they are seeking yours. Do not go in fear. Crikey, I literally said this. They are sending her messages, but she knows that they are not what they seem, and that there are many like them in this world. You may seem in need of help to people who actually have an agenda at the moment. People around you are acting like experts and supporting each other in the group mindset and wanting you to join them for your own good. Now, I am actually seeing this coming up in your 11th house of friends. It's come through. I'll come on to it. And again, your intuition is highlighted in your 11th house. I think you are aware that people that you're close to, and it is the 4 of Wands, that there's some sort of instability. And again, there's just something off around you, Virgo. So please don't doubt it, because there's all over here that you already know. So they either do not have fully formed identities, or they are too easily taking on the beliefs and ideas of a powerful other. You may be asked to join with others in their beliefs and be alarmed at a mindset and belief system that seems very blank and faceless, devoid of human joy and warmth. This almost feels cult-like. It is wise for you to keep your own counsel, remain detached, and wait for the faceless ones to reveal themselves. They will change when an even more powerful person for them to attach to comes along. Know that until they find their own selves and commit to following that path, they will be as blank pages written upon by whatever hand comes near them. Do not be like this. Make your own mark in this world. There could be an imitation taking place where your work and ideas and even your personality are being copied too closely. God almighty. So yeah, please pay attention, Virgo. Please be wary of who it is you're interacting. If this is your reading, you'll already know what this is. If this is not resonating with you, this is not your reading, and there's no point in listening any further. Just click like and I'll catch you next time, because this is a really specific message. So I've looked at the astrological wheel. So in your first house, Virgo, this is lovely because, again, 9 of Pentacles and the Hermit. Firstly, these are both my Virgo cards. So you're very much in your own energy. The Hermit is incredibly introspective and watchful. And with the baby, or the maiden, this can be about new beginnings. And the 9 of Pentacles is very much about standing on your own 2 feet. Seeking your own self-dependence. Is that the word? Your independence, knowing your own self-worth, and literally being sort of like, it almost feels like you're sort of being calm and you're being watchful, and you might even be looking for an exit here. But if you are, it's not something that you're making known with the Hermit. The Hermit very much keeps himself to himself. So again, I just feel I'm reading for a Virgo who knows the score here, and they might be looking for an exit. If it's not that, you might even be feeling a need to sort of protect your own child. I really am getting a very strong cult-like feel. So if it's not just one individual, and it's definitely a masculine with the Emperor in reverse, but this could be like the Jim Jones, and there's a lot of them. This could be literally a family. And you know, you're being raised by narcissists, and you're suddenly like getting all these downloads, and you're seeing it and you're freaking out. Just don't doubt it. I'll try not to repeat myself, but I'm getting repeating messages here. In your second house, this is your house of money, earned income, your possessions and your job. So you're feeling, or at least have felt, stuck here. And I see that you're moving on here with she or the crew. Actually, the crew could just indicate I'm reading for a female. But it can be about, it's like mother love. It's, I actually sort of feel that you're just trying to release yourself. There may be, you know, codependency here. You may be tied to someone financially, or, you know, this could literally be a workplace that you're dealing with rather than, you know, your family, or, you know, you'll know the score. It is most definitely moving on with the journeyman. The journeyman is stepping out there. It is about travel. It's about being really enthusiastic. And with mother love here, as I say, you're either just a feminine, or you're like really, this is like almost a spiritual healing. But it is moving on with some sort of grace. I'm not getting like any, I am getting a little bit of fear, but not a lot, I have to say. I just feel like you're waiting for an opening, like you already know the score and you're just waiting for that exit, because it may be a very, you know, awkward situation or job that you're involved in, or relationship, and you just sort of need to, you know, because, you know, if it is a powerful narcissist you're dealing with, you know, these are not people that you say, I'm going. You can't have that sort of conversation. I feel it may be that you feel stuck to this environment or job or relationship because of money, with this being in your second house here. and you're just really hopeful for some sort of, you know, new beginning, a spark, a direction to go in. In your third house, and this is your house of communications, I'm not sure what you're doing here. This can be siblings, it can be your social life and short journeys. It's almost like you want a blank slate. I kind of feel that you, so with the Two of Pentacles, this is about, you know, having in the Ace of Pentacles, you've got some like raw materials, you've got some money, you've got at least your health, you've got something, you know, you don't have literally nothing. And this is literally looking at ways to increase your worth, you know, invest your money wisely. So, you know, you might just be looking at your budget. You might actually be traveling, or at least speaking to someone who is involved in finance, who's going to help you sort of, you know, invest whatever it is you've got. I'm not really sure what you're doing here. It almost feels like you don't want to let me know what you're doing or what you're communicating and what you're working with. So I'm just going to leave that there. And in your fourth house, this is your house of home. And this is the Emperor in reverse with the Singer of Courage in reverse. So the Emperor, this is the narcissist. This can be a really abusive person. It can be incredibly controlling. And yet we do have the Singer of Courage in reverse. Now this, I mean, that could relate to you, and you know, you really want to leave this person, but you're afraid to, you know, step out on your own. But it also suggests that this person is actually very weak. You know, so this might be one of these guys that, you know, in the home, you know, when they can, like, you know, bully and beat up on one person, but, you know, when they go out and about, and if they were approached by three dudes, they would literally crumble to their knees. So there is a feeling here where it's just, there's some sort of falsity with this person. It's almost like false bravado. There's just an act about them. There's just something incredibly off about them. But they do lack courage. Which, given, I mean, that just could suggest that this could even be the Virgo I'm reading for, and they're the ones that are lacking courage to leave a situation. If this were a masculine I were reading for here. And that would feel like incredibly browbeaten down by a situation and literally not having the courage to break free from it. I honestly, I'm getting a real horrible feeling here that this is like almost brainwashing and cult-like, you know? I really don't like it. But yet you see it, Virgo. I mean, this might not be you, it might not be the person you're dealing with, but it might be somebody you know. You see it. And this has come through as the King of Clubs. This can be a judge. It says that this can be someone in authority. You know, the father of the household. It can be, you know, a corrupt boss. But it's also someone who feels judged by people and around them. It feels like someone has been made to feel they can't live up to someone else's expectations of them. And that's where I'm getting this, you know, I almost, you know, this is horrible. Like they're just making someone feel like utter shit and keeping them stuck there to the point they don't actually have enough confidence in themselves to just try and keep their head down, but, you know, but maybe even fantasize about moving, getting out, but they're scared. I think there's definitely some fear here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the house of romance, love affairs, fertility, fun, hobbies. There seems to be some activity here. I always feel it's like when somebody is out of the house, that's the only time they actually get some relief, the only time they get some pleasure, because Mickle and Muckle here is about mixed blessings. So, you know, if you're able to get out on a wee journey, or the, you know, the time that you actually spend in your work mixing with other people is actually a blessing to you. But there's just that feeling that you have to go back here. But this can also be someone who's really aggressive that you're dealing with. With the Chariot, this is Aries, the god of war. He's a bit of a philanderer. And this can be somebody who can be you know, argumentative or aggressive, or you know, just run roughshod over people, but then think it's a bit funny. Or you know, if you were to tell them that what they're doing is really upsetting you or making you feel bad, or then they're going to say that you're being ridiculous. This is, you know, major gaslighting. I hope for some that this will mean that when they're out and about, they are getting some relief from the situation, but I almost get a feeling that it's somebody who is a complete bully, and they, you know, and they just laugh it off. They think you're being silly, they think you're overreacting, they tell you you're oversensitive. It'll always be you, know that. And in the 6th house, so this is the house of pets, daily habits, routine, fitness and illness. I sort of feel that as much as you know that you have to leave this situation, the 2 of Wands is always a little bit nervous. This is Jason. And Jason now has knowledge that he didn't have before in the Ace of Wands. You know, he's been given this knowledge by Chiron, who is the wounded healer. And it brings sadness, so there is a release here that needs to happen with Lady of the Harvest, and there is a grieving process involved in it. So it's, you know, it's almost like, it's like Stockholm syndrome, really. You've been there for so long, it's all you've ever known. Not really sure where to go, but know that what's going on in your life isn't right. But there's a real fear of leaving it behind as well, and also sadness, because it's like it's habitual now. In the 7th house, this is the house of relationships. This is the He of the Fiery Sword. This can be the divine masculine, but it's also about will and strength, and it illuminates the truth. And again, it's psychic truth with the High Priestess. It's secret knowledge that has been shown to you, either, you know, in your dreams, or, you know, through an epiphany. You know, your guides are speaking to you, whatever, you know, because you've been shown. And this is about the relationship or relationships that you're involved in. And in the 8th house here, full on smoke and mirrors. It can be like dark magic, although the magician isn't in reverse. He actually looks spruce. He has an exterior, you know, character, and there's something incredibly off about this. And this is what I'm coming back to. When you see these tricksters in, you know, the 4D, you will get there. You just know there's something off with them. You can just smell it. You can see something off with them. But this has almost been a bit ganged up on with Sylvanus in reverse. So there might be more than one. And, you know, narcissists have their flying monkeys for good reason. And again, come back to kind of culty feel. So this is people that are trying to create cracks in your ideas about yourself, making you doubt yourself. And the trick here with Sylvanus in reverse is learning to distinguish the distorted reflections that they're showing you, because they're wearing masks of untruth, not the mask of truth as it is upright. It is the mask of untruth, and they are projecting onto you. And literally, you've got nothing to do with it. You're just a pawn in the game. You're just supply. I'm sorry if that sounds really mean, but I've moved on to like a Jim Jones cult here, and I cannot quite get it out of my head. But they're just wanting you to question yourself. They want you to question your ethics, your own philosophy, your own wisdom, your own knowledge of self. They want you to doubt who you even are. And that's what this is. Smokes and mirrors. And that is in your 8th house. And your 8th house is sex, death, taxes, loans, your partner's resources, and it's mystery as well. And in the 9th house, so this is travel, philosophy, law, religion. So there's not a lot doing here, but again, we're getting solace, and solace is spiritual empowerment. There is, I almost feel you want to speak to someone about your situation. This is my honesty card. It's something that may have taken you a very long time, Virgo, to get to this point, but there is a need now I feel to speak openly and honestly about what's going on with you. And that's what my wee man here, what is he? He's honesty. I always think he should have a different name. This is just straight dealing, just spitting it out. This is what's happening. It's taken me a long time to say it or to see it. And that's where your strength will come from. That's where you're literally empowered. And I just think it's taking you some time, which if I'm anywhere close, and I hope I'm not with this scenario, is unsurprising. In your 10th house, this is public image, and this is the father, the men of the household, reputation. And I'm just seeing that someone, four of wands, 4 of swords in reverse here, someone is trying to retreat, someone is trying to heal, trying to get their head straight, recover from this situation, and they're constantly being interrupted and needled. The situation is self-sabotaged or sabotage. Now you can actually be self-sabotaging this. This literally could be your entire personal manifestation, but with the Bodhisattva's Bodha here mirroring the Emperor in reverse, this is definitely a masculine in this frame. I don't see any feminine energy here, but I'm sure it must be in the mix. But this is old man messy web. This is a gossip. He just likes to tamper and he likes to mess with your head. And if you catch him at it, he's going to tell you you're talking nonsense, you're confused, you don't understand, you're not intelligent enough. Remember the last time this happened? Pure gaslighting. Getting annoyed now. Oh no. Fuck it. In the 11th house. Groups and social awareness. And I think this is just a realization again. We have got the singer of intuition. So this is telling you that to trust your own powers of perception, to trust your own knowing. You know that this is an unstable environment. This could literally just be your home. It can be your family. It can be the person you're married to. There's something incredibly off about the situation, and you know it. And in the 12th house, this is your subconscious, your house of self-undoing, can be karma as well. So I've got the Ace of Cups here. This is a bit odd. The Ace of Cups with old man gnome, isn't it? Oh, that gnome. I've also got it with with the 8 of spades here and the Singer of Transfiguration. It didn't know which way it wanted to come out, to be honest. This is this can be arguments. I honestly, this could be somebody that drinks, to be perfectly honest, because my that gnome is my drunken gnome. He does have positive attributes, and it depends very much on what's around them. I'm just getting this as chaos, and the size of that Ace of Cups, all I can see is a massive glass of wine, and intuitively I'm thinking that this is somebody that can't handle their drink, who has a drink and then becomes like argumentative, you know, abusive, avoidant. And this does actually tell you to watch your alcohol consumption. So this almost feels like, you know, just an abusive household, like the outside world hasn't got a clue what goes on behind closed doors here. And I'm going to take you some advice, Virgo. I do hope this reading is helpful, and I hope I'm wrong. Virgo, what advice, please, Spirit, do you have for Virgo for this reading? I'm just going to say for June, because we'll get a nice fresh one in July and see where we're at. Virgo. Advice for my Virgos for this reading. I'm taking angels and ancestors first. But what advice can you offer, Virgo? I mean, the thing is, Virgo, I think I'm seeing everything is saying your intuition's on point. You've got the High Priestess, Singer of Intuition, Fiona and the Unicorn, Trust, the Dragonfly Spirit, and the Hawk. You see it absolutely clearly. So maybe this has all happened already and you're off out. Virgo, advice, please, Spirit, for Virgo for this reading. Clear advice, please. Release the old and rest. Now, and do it peacefully with my peacekeeper at the end here. Yeah, you don't want to rattle this person. If you're dealing with an abusive drunk or anything like I've already mentioned, You know, you don't want to exacerbate it, but autumn can be a timeline as to when this is likely to come to fruition. But it is about releasing the old and resting, and you're not being able to rest here with the Four of Swords in reverse. You're not being able to rest and recover. So, I mean, if you're not getting enough sleep and you've constantly got, like, you know, sleeping with one eye open and waiting for the next eruption, you're going to be living on the edge, and it almost becomes impossible to make good decisions then. And the very fact that that's happening, and when you go to sleep, you're going into the nightmare realm. You're into the pits of hell there, and all the demons are coming at you. Please don't be, they can't touch you, they can't, but you need to be confident in yourself and literally tell them to fuck off. It does work. Take some time though. Get angry. Advice from a Virgo. Drop one of them. I don't know which way it came out, I'm not reading it. Advice for Virgo for this reading. It's saying hold on though. Oof. Get angry. King of Wands in reverse. And I don't know if there's a friend you can speak to, Virgo. I've got 6 of Cups here, and this is like my childhood friend. This is like your best bud, your soulmate. It can be a family member. I feel a need to release and vent here with the King of Wands in reverse. So you may almost be to the point where you have been groomed to passivity. Advice for Virgo. 9 of Pentacles in reverse. And 2 of Cups. I just sort of feel that if the reason you're staying there, Virgo, is because you don't feel you can be financially independent, I'm getting that that's the least of your problems, and that's not something you have to give much attention to. There's a 2 of Cups here, and there's a 6 of Cups, so there might be, you know, there's someone from your past. It doesn't need to be a love relationship, but there does seem to be something quite beautiful there. I mean, this King of Wands could represent the person that you're dealing with these 2 in reverse, because these have very different energies. And that would be someone very unstable indeed. That is someone very abusive. I think you need to just, if it's money that's keeping you there, that's not a good enough reason. That's what I'm going to say. Ace of Wands. Strike out. Just follow your passion. Find something that lights you up and go for it. And release the old, and please rest and get well. Please look after yourself, Virgo. Bye for now.